my name is Jordan. I'm going to be interviewing the food and beverage manager at the Hilton Garden in Fairfield, Nicole. Nicole is my boss, and I've chosen her for my leadership interview because of the leadership characteristics she displays at work every day. How would you define leadership?
How I define leadership is someone that is basically is a good example to their peers and to their staff, and that they a good leader helps push people to become better at what they do and to succeed in life is a good example of a good leader.
So continuing on where you said what a good leader does for the people they lead, what are some other characteristics you could say attribute a good leader?
I think a good leader should always be positive. No matter what is going on, they should just always remain positive and promote positivity, because if you're negative, then it just brings the group down. Another thing is just motivating your staff. As long as you motivate your staff, I think that they'll enjoy what they're doing and they'll stay motivated to do their work a little bit better. Being responsible, I think that's probably the number one thing. I think is responsible and reliable, because that's what you have to learn as you grow older. Is being
with working with young adults. What is a typical day like leading them?
A typical day leading young adults is fun and frustrating all at the same time. You don't ever know what you're going to come into. It can be frustrating because they kind of know it all the time, and at the same time you are trying to teach them exactly what the way it's supposed to be done. As much as you might say you know something, there's certain ways of doing it, so it's teaching them that you have to do it the way it's supposed to be done, versus you can't just fly by the seat of your pants. With this our particular job in food and beverage, it's kind of nice, but I'm trying to teach the young kids things that I have filled out in my younger days, and that it's something they're going to learn later on, that there's going to be rules in certain ways you have to do it, and if you don't do it those ways, it's consequences happen. So it's kind of nice teaching the young ones to not make mistakes I made, I guess, when I was younger.
So in being sort of an advisor, even not just in the workplace, but also in some of their personal lives, as you say, you want to make them responsible and reliable, not just workers, but young adults. Who was an advisor or a mentor for you when you were a young adult?
Well, my mentor for me is no longer living. He was my grandfather, and he was the one that taught me responsibility. And he always pushed me to be a better person no matter what. He was always positive with me. He motivated me. But he taught me, he was an ex-Air Force guy, so he was very straight and narrow. And I feel like that taught me a lot of, I guess, on how I am with, might not be, when I discipline, my staff, it's not always probably the best way to do it, but I feel like that's how I was kind of disciplined, so it's just something that I've kind of have now do with, my kids, I should say, into becoming a better person. So he was my mentor, and now actually my mentor is my boss, he's our assistant AGM. He was the one that through the 12 years I had been at the Hilton, he's mentored me, and now being in the food and beverage position, he mentors me daily on how to do my job, how to be a better person at my job, and just how to make my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you enjoy most about your career?
What I enjoy most about my career is I love my job, and I think what I do enjoy most about my career is why I come to work is to see you guys. I mean, it really is, honestly, is to see you guys. I mean, I love my job, but at the same time, you guys make it worth coming to work, because you guys are pretty much happy to be at work for the most part. I mean, there's some days that we all hate our life, but and everything that's going on, and we hate our job, but you guys make my job exciting, just because you guys do, for the most part, listen to me, and you guys kind of want to learn, and whether or not this is something you guys are doing in your career, or what you guys are going to school for, you guys still take everything I say, and you guys, listen, and you guys respond to it. So you guys actually make me probably the reason why I come to work every day.
So in coming to work every day, it's very obvious sometimes you have to deal with the mistakes young adults make. Mm-hmm. What are some other challenges that you're faced with when you show up to work besides those?
Probably just kind of not knowing what I'm walking into is a challenge, and it's not just the staff. It could be an event. You don't know how event's going to be, the contacts you're going to meet, the people you're going to meet with, and so sometimes that can be a little bit frustrating because you could be walking into I hate to use the word, a shit store, versus something that just you're walking in and it's just easy peasy. Mm-hmm. So I would say that would probably.
What immediately comes to mind when you hear the word success?
Success. What I think of success is someone that is happy in their job. It's a success. It doesn't matter. For me personally, success is not how much money you make. Success is someone that has basically has, for myself, is I worked my way from being someone that had no experience at all to now I'm running the department. So for me, that was success, because in a 12-year period, I was able to, like I said, become a nobody and become somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's success. I think it doesn't matter how much money I make. I don't believe that is success at all. It's someone that's actually happy in their career that they've chosen.
When you're dealt with the challenges that you face day to day at work, how do you maintain composure and successfully still lead your staff?
Not always can you maintain composure. Sometimes you definitely let it be known that you're frustrated. But for the most part, you kind of just have to, how I try to maintain composure is I try to look at the whole situation and figure out exactly what's going on. Because if you don't have the whole story, that's when people start to lose their composure. It is very hard to maintain composure sometimes, but I try to at least hear everything before I flip out. And other than that, for me, I walk around, or I kind of disappear during the day, especially. Like I'll walk outside the hotel and take a deep breath and then go back in, because I feel if you're frustrated, then what you need to resolve or talk to somebody about, you have to, have that breath of fresh air, and then you can go in and maintain. You have composure at that point when you have dealt with it quietly by yourself.
What advice would you give to aspiring young leaders?
What advice I would give to aspiring young leaders? I would tell them to never give up. Don't listen to what other people have to say. If you know in your heart that that's something you want to do, then do it. And don't ever let anybody knock you down. Just push past it. Whether it be colleges, bosses, family or friends, don't ever let them tell you you can't do it. You need to push through it. And I think that is probably the biggest advice I would ever tell anybody is keep doing it. Do what you want, do what you love. Don't let someone tell you that you can't do it at all.
What is one mistake you witness other authority figures in the workplace make that inhibits their leadership abilities?
The biggest thing I probably would say I witness on not a daily basis, but I witness often, is probably not holding people accountable. At least as managers, with the hotel having 5 different departments, is not holding their staff accountable. So what happens is if you don't hold someone accountable for not doing something, they're going to continue to do it. So that's probably the biggest thing I've witnessed amongst my peers is not holding people accountable, and letting them take responsibility of something that may or may not have happened. That's the biggest mistake, I would say.
And